And we should now be live. Good evening, everybody. I'm just going to check everything is working fine on OBS. It is. Excellent. Brilliant. Well, welcome to the usual Sunday stream. And it's a little bit earlier than normal. Primarily because I have a feeling this stream may take a little longer to do some things in, because there's some big environmental stuff that needs to be made in this particular stream. So I thought I'd just give an extra hour just so we have plenty of time. And yes, we are back on Isla Sodor again. If you remember the last time we were on this map, we were doing the I've forgotten the name of it now. The walkthrough enclosure. So I'm hoping to, in this stream, do the castle area, which is going to take a bit of time, and also complete the exhibit in the bottom of this corner near the entrance, because that's been empty for quite a while now. But yes, you might see now the mini golf course is fully established and complete, which I'm pretty proud of. I think it looks pretty good. So yeah, I'm just going to get started with starting off with this exhibit down here, because this needs to be complete. And that'll be the last area of this, the entrance area. So yeah, let's get this started. Do say hello if you're in chat, just so I know people are here and watching. And I need to think about what I want this particular enclosure to be. Another fight. Right. Let's see. Probably gonna want to. I don't want to put too much big fencing in. So I think I might resort to using maybe those for like the edge. That could work. Let's start with that one about there. Damn. How far off? No, that's not too far off. Maybe if we just squeeze them up a little bit. Yeah, it's not too bad. And then obviously we can put lights or something in down here just to make sure it's not too dark. Alright, we'll use invisible fencing. Just just align the edge to definitely make sure nothing escapes. Same for down here. Oh shit. Chat is quiet today. I'm assuming most people are still off watching Evo, which I'm surprised at because it's a members only stream tonight, so I kind of had hopes it'd be a little busier here, but oh well. Okay, that should protect the hotel area. And now we need to figure out what sort of frontage to give this. Thinking... Well, I don't know what I'm going to have in here yet. Possibly a ceratopsian, so you probably want to go for something that's a bit protective, thinking about it. Or do we go for solid walls? Ah, that's going to make that way too dark. Okay. Nah, it's not going to work either. Do say hello if you're in chat, by the way. I do hope chat is actually working. Then I'd have to have the same back here, won't I? Oh good, I'm glad it's working. Hello, Maslow. I wasn't sure chat was actually working for a second there. Maybe do... Trying to figure out this particular enclosure. Do you want to use some of these? Let's see, do one and sort of two. And then let's do, let's see, one and two, and then let's have a slightly bigger one in the middle. So one and two and three and four. Okay, so that should be, I think that's enough viewing for this particular enclosure. I'm doing okay, Joshua. How are you doing? is rather dark, that. So maybe switch to that. Blast. Building Sodor in Minecraft. Cool. Shall have to hide that with some plants, but it'll do. Hello, Barger. I'm glad people are starting to drop by. It was a bit quiet there. We're building this enclosure near the hotel to begin with. But the aim today is to also build the castle. And the mini golf course is complete. And I'm very happy with how this turned out. I did all this off stream. It took a very long time. It pretty much took all of yesterday. But yeah, I think it looks really cool. Fills up that gap that I was unsure what to do with. I'll give it a walk around after we do this exhibit so people can see it from ground level. And we'll go round the whole thing. But this is probably going to be the Chasmosaur exhibit, I'm thinking. Have a ceratopsian in here. Hello, Quartzite. Pachyrhino. We could put Pachyrhinosaurus in here, actually. That could be a better option than the Chasmo. Right. This border we will have to go with proper fencing. Perhaps put some rocks or something behind there or in front of there just to make that fence line a little less obvious. Because you know me, I don't like really obvious fence lines. I like to hide the fence as much as possible. We're making use of a mod today, actually. Because I wanted to find a use of these wonderful clear window panels. The mod maker I cannot remember. But basically these are window pieces. They've got the glass in them, and they're going to work really nicely, I think, for these particular exhibits. Obviously, they would work the best for concrete exhibits, where you can't see everything. The only problem with that is, I think, if I concrete up all of these, I think it makes this particular exhibit a little too dark. It makes this path a little dark, in my opinion. So we're going to stick to the barred fence. But, you know, I think if you were walking around this as a visitor, I think you'd appreciate being able to have a look at a section that there's no thick bars there. So just got caught up with the DLC, so I just started looking up content creators in like the past 3 days. Oh, well, I'm glad to be on your list, Courtside. Do check out my other videos, the Jurassic Architect series, especially if you want park building tips and tricks. Also, why are you putting invisible fences behind the normal ones? I've only done it over here just because I wanted to just make sure they don't sort of get stuck in this corner. I just want to keep them away from this edge. I'm good, Grumpy Goose. How are you doing? Utah's Dinosaur King, I think you've missed the point of this particular park. Although that doesn't surprise me, you haven't actually been here for this park. So, yeah, this is a park entirely for small animals. Utahraptor is not a small animal. They have a hitbox. Why are you putting invisible fences inside of the glass? Oh, inside of the glass. Oh, it's just to doubly make sure nothing gets through. I always verge on caution with stuff. So I'm not sure what particular environment to go with for this particular enclosure. See, we've got a couple of desert enclosures. We've got a couple of forested ones. We've got a sort of fir tree lined Isla Sodor one. We went for a mixture of the three in the walkthrough enclosure. Taiga, snow, I don't think is really possible. Well, thank you, Grumpy Goose. And for those not aware, Grumpy Goose and me are friends offline. We used to go to school together. And he does also play a variety of games on his own channel. So if you do like other games, I cannot remember some recent ones he's been playing. They tend to play all sorts of games, including Baldur's Gate, so do pop in and support him as well, because us smaller creators, we have to, you know, look out for each other. I think what I'm actually going to do is try and turn this one into a bit of a swamp, because the Metriacanthosaurus exhibit is a swamp exhibit, so I think if we turn this one into a bit of a swamp as well, there's some nice symmetry there. Plus, I think when it comes to ceratopsians as a species, I think people tend to stick them in pretty, what I would say, very normal enclosures. I don't think people are particularly imaginative with enclosures for ceratopsians, so same as sauropods, really. Like, I never see people do sauropod desert enclosures or sauropod swamp enclosures. Swamps are always for baryonyx or Spinosaurus or hadrosaurs. So let's just create some swampy ground here for our chasmosaurs or pachyrhinosaurs. Not sure which one to go with. Quite like to maybe just make another little inlet there. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. Just make that a little bigger. Yeah, I think that's good enough. And let's try to make the surrounding water a little darker. Just helps to do that depth perception. To put a slightly darker texture in the water. Not everywhere though, because there are some naturally shallow areas which we want to highlight with rocks and stuff, so That'll do. Oh blimey, I'm missing chat. Sorry, I will try and keep a better eye on chat. What do you think about update 9 for Prehistoric Kingdom? So looks really great actually. I think so. I've decided from January I'm going to start doing a Prehistoric Kingdom series. Which will kind of run in, next to Jurassic World Evolution. So 1 week will be Jurassic World Evolution, and then it will be Prehistoric Kingdom next week. Because I think Prehistoric Kingdom is now at the point where I think we can honestly say it's workable now. There's enough animal species, and they've got their, they've got behaviors, and the workshop is open. So I think we can honestly say now that Prehistoric Kingdom is ready to start being contented. So yeah, and I think the Spinosaurus looks fantastic. Wish we had a miniature railway in this game. True. I would like to see more attractions in this game in general. I think that's been something sorely missed by the more recent DLCs and stuff that we've had. I think that's a bit too... Maybe we should go with that one instead. Yeah. Yeah, let's go with that one. We'll go with like the mossy ground texture. It probably works a bit better. For this. What inspires you to make these different parks? What's usually your method to determine a target? I suppose it's just like I'll have a random idea of something I want to make. This one, it was I want to make a park based of little animals, and I want to kind of make my own island. And like, oh, if I want to make my own island, I'll use an island I know. So I'll do it based off Thomas the Tank Engine's Island of Sodor, and we can be a bit tongue-in-cheek. And it's also a good way of getting people to getting to know me, because I can talk about my childhood stuff. Sometimes there is no inspiration for parks, and I'll just be bored of the game, and that's usually when I do War Thunder. Metriacantho isn't small by what the hatchery says. Yeah, I'm not going off what the hatchery says. I'm going off what I can see. I'm going off my own knowledge. Metriacanthosaurus might not look small, but in terms of theropod, you could call it a pretty small theropod. Which is why it is in this park. By game model, Utah is small, yes, but it is the largest of the raptors. The list at the side is the species that are left to put in the park. Maybe it's a bit small. Maybe I need to make that a little bigger for people.
Probably color as well.
There we go. No, I'm happy with the orange juice. So the list at the side there is the species that are yet to go into the park. What sort of color rocks shall we go with for this swampy exhibit? These Mediterranean rocks I haven't used very often. They're surprisingly nice. Let's use Mediterranean rocks for this one. So I want a couple sort of there and a couple there, just to denote where the water is a little lower. Do a couple of bigger ones. And let's put in some really big rocks. So let's hide the edge of this hotel. Also works to hide that awful invisible wall texture. Oh, actually, that might not work, actually. Because the aim is that the guests should be able to look over the edge of the trees and be able to look down. Maybe we need slightly smaller ones. Oh, crikey. I'm losing track of the thing. Who would win, Thomas the Tank Engine or a Tyrannosaurus? Probably Thomas the Tank Engine. Thomas is made of steel. I don't think anything could bite through that. True. Fletcher, which do you think is more accurate for a Spino? The bipedal stance or the quadrupedal stance? Okay, look, when it comes to Spinosaurus, no, the damn thing changes how it looks practically every year. That being said, I honestly like its quadrupedal stance. I know some people think the quadrupedal stance looks stupid, and I can see why, because it does. It does look stupid, but that's why I like it. It looks bizarre. And honestly, in terms of proportions, I think the quadrupedal stance actually, proportions-wise, looks pretty decent. You know, if you look at an animal like a Spinosaurus, it actually reminds me quite a lot of a hadrosaur or an iguanodontid. You've got very long back legs and front legs that are not exactly short. They're sort of mid-length. You have a very long tail and a very long body and a relatively short neck. And the animal itself is quite long. And I think, in terms of stance, I think it suits an animal that would walk on 4 legs and run on 2. That's just my feelings on it. But personally, I don't think there's anything wrong with representing it in that way. I think it's a good thing for Prehistoric Kingdom as a game to represent it in quite a different way, because by representing Spinosaurus in a radically alternative way, it makes the game stand out compared to, say, this game where the Spinosaurus is basically normal. So even if the paleontology is a little iffy on Spinosaurus being a 4-legged carnivore and walking around on 4 legs, I think just the fact that they're doing that makes the game stand out compared to other games with Spinosaurus in. You know what's strange? Iguanodon was named in Britain, but from what I heard from Red Raptor Rights, the British species is now Mantellisaurus, while Iguanodon is reduced to Belgium. So, Joshua, I looked into this and read a few articles on this. So no, there are 2 species of there is a British species of Iguanodon. There is Mantellisaurus, and there's also a European species of iguanodon. Or what the animal, the species that is the holotype for iguanodon is found both in Europe and in Britain. Mantellisaurus is just found in Britain and is another similarity to iguanodon. It's quite confusing, but yeah, there is a British iguanodon. Fletcher making the weirdest connection ever. True. But Fletcher, why would Spinosaurus be quadrupedal when all other Spinosaurids are bipedal? Well, first of all, it's kind of assumed that all other Spinosaurids were bipedal. But secondly, I mean, Spinosaurus is so much larger. And I think size does play a factor here. Spinosaurus is a heck of a lot bigger than most of the other Spinosaurids. And I can imagine that being so much larger, it's going to have an effect on the animal's, construction. So I think that's why. Just size. It's just huge compared with any other Spinosaurid. So I'm going to stick with using the Mediterranean trees as the large trees, and we're also going to use some of the European trees around here. I don't want to use too many of these big Mediterranean trees, just because they take up a lot of room and they cause a lot of shade, but I think it's okay to maybe have a couple just in clear, good spaces. I think maybe one more down here. What's your stance on the Path of Titans game? I think Path of Titans is a better game than the Isle, but I think the Isle is more enjoyable to I think because the Isle, your job is only to survive. You don't have all the fluff and the strange quests and stuff. I think it's more enjoyable, but Path of Titans is the better game. I mean, I haven't played Path of Titans. It's on my list of things to do, actually. Just gonna line the edges of our swampy enclosure with trees here. And add in some additional trees, obviously, around the enclosure in general, because it's a bit lacking in foliage at the moment, so... Exactly, getting our foliage on. As Dane so rightly puts. Let's have a couple of trees here. And we'll go for... actually, for this one, we'll switch and we'll use a couple of slightly different colours. Yeah, let's start mixing in the other colours of tree here. Just to give us some variation. I think way too many people's enclosures are too green. I think there's nothing wrong with mixing in a few orange trees. Let's stick in a couple of red ones there. Let's have a red one there, and a green one. And let's do a couple there. I think that's looking much better. The British saying they aren't part of Europe. Classic UK. Look, don't even mention Brexit. That'll get me ranting for hours.
My favorite part of that is they say the British saying the UK is not part of Europe is like taking two different things and saying they're the same thing.
Let's not get started on that. Okay, just using the big bushes just to cover up some of those edges. They also work quite nicely as a big foliage blob. Can really help with some of those awkward areas. Okay, it's looking much better already. What kind of snails and slugs live during the Mesozoic? I have no idea, Joshua, to be honest. Lake Skadar in Montenegro is a good real-life example of a Mediterranean swamp if you want image references. Ah, I probably should have looked at that. But I think this has turned out reasonably well so far. Random question, Fletcher. Which would win in a fight, a Spinosaurus or a Saurophaganax? Spinosaurus, easily. I can see what you were saying there. I've enjoyed Path of Titans. I might have a spare key from our old sponsorship. Oh, really, Grumpy Goose? Well, that would be really helpful if you did. Fletcher, just an idea, but what if the next DLC isn't a Cretaceous pack? I know, the most unrealistic thing ever for Frontier. Yeah, like... Yeah, while I'm finishing off this enclosure, let's talk about the elephant in the room, shall we?
Not that big.
Not you. Let's talk about the DLC. As nice as the species are, and I know a lot of people were so happy to have Utahraptor and so happy to have Concavenator and so happy to have Tarbosaurus. I think the DLC was actually very disappointing, and I think highlights a serious problem with the way Frontier does or has done its DLCs lately. Because to me, just because an animal may be popular does not necessarily mean the animal is good. And as far as I'm concerned, none of the animals the DLC added were really that necessary. Sure, it's nice to have new animals. And I know a lot of people were clamoring to have them in the game. So to them, you know, it was great to have them. And the people who are excited have nothing against the people who are excited. You know, everyone is entitled to enjoy the aspects of the game that they enjoy. But strictly just from my perspective, the DLC was kind of pointless. It hasn't improved the game. It hasn't made more people play the game. And it's certainly not made me think that it was worth buying. You know, I brought it because I have to buy it in order to do content on it. But it's certainly, if I wasn't making content on it, if I wasn't playing this game, if I wasn't doing YouTube, I probably wouldn't bother buying it. Because it does nothing for the game. And the free DLC element, which is the most important element in my opinion, was good, but needed more. Frontier and Universal just give the game mod support. Yeah, I don't see why they just don't. You know, when it came to the first game, they tacitly admitted that the first game was only still going because people had modded the game. I don't understand why they can't just admit. I mean, they have Planet Zoo and Planet Coaster. They know that modders absolutely love their products and are what keeps their games alive. So why don't they show some love to the modders and the modding community? Why don't they just make the game more friendly to them? Because I think that would earn them more points. I don't know. I just see Frontier as one of these games companies that are doing... that they're focusing on all the wrong things. And I think it's starting to erode the respect I had for them as a company. Let's just stick a few tree trunks in, not too many. Just a few. I mean, because if this is a ceratopsian enclosure, realistically, you'd want some rotting wood or something like that. Because, you know, ceratopsians, based on what we know of their droppings and also their teeth structure, they would probably have eaten branches and wood and bark. It's annoying when people piss and cry over the DLC because there's no microstratus. I hope the damn rodent doesn't come when Jurassic World Evolution 2 ends. Also, the DLC is fine. It's just people think better cause mods. Yeah, maybe. Very true, we could have had like Stegosaurus, Helicoprion, Gorgonopsid, and Nyctosaurus, yep. It's not so much what's worth the money, and more that even if you have the money and want to spend it, they just don't make the things you want. It's because of the current situation in the company, Raptor King. Well, I don't think that it is. People are defending the recent, you know, the statue debacle and this last DLC in limited free updates. They're claiming, well, you know, the company's in financial trouble at the moment, so that's why. But with respect, I think the Jurassic World Evolution 2 has had a problem since day one, and they weren't in financial difficulties day one. So I think we're kind of coming up with excuses for them at that point. Yeah, I'm happy with this. I think it looks good. I'm thinking lighting-wise, we'll probably have biosyn lamps in the gaps, so something like that. Yeah, I'll probably put the one in there. And let's put one in there, there, and there. And one in here. So that'll light up the viewing glass. If I could be in charge of a DLC, I'd make one focus on specific prehistoric ecosystems like Cretaceous Madagascar. I'd really like to make massive enclosures simulating a whole ecosystem. Yeah, I agree in the idea that the DLCs we have had, they always seem to go with the boring idea. Like, there's never... They always go with the bog standard, or let's do a Cretaceous pack, and another Cretaceous pack, and then yet another Cretaceous pack. Like, people want more elaborate decorations, or more biomes, or more maps, or we want Gorgonopsids, or we want more interesting animals. It feels very much like Frontier always are playing it safe at the moment, and I'm not sure that's helping either. Right, shall we go and find some skins? Let's go into the species viewer and find some skins for Pachyrhinosaurus or Chasmosaurus. I'm still not decided which. Fletcher, random but little, just a funny idea for a game. Cryptid park builder, where you can make a zoo and fill it with cryptics. And that's a great idea, Bugger. In fact, I had like a video game pitch idea to make a Fallout-inspired park builder, where you like have to create exhibits and look after all of the mutated animals of the Fallout games. I think that could be quite fun. I want to look after a pack of Deathclaws and have some Mirelurks and stuff. I think that would be quite fun. So, Chasmosaurus or Pachyrhinosaurus? I mean, we're going to have both of them in the park anyway. Pachyrhino, just to make the Canadians happy. Pachyrhinosaurus it is. Let's move the lighting so we can actually see this. Okay, what do we want to do color-wise? I think I'm gonna pick a frill color first. I really like the white, so I'm gonna go with white. And let's see, I want something that's gonna stand out amongst all the green trees. Mangrove forest, Yukon River. And actually, I quite like Svalbard. I think that looks quite rustic. Svalbard and Polkrana. And we need to find the female skin to match that. So let's do... probably the closest female skin is probably Killian Mountains. So let's do Killian Mountains for the females. And we'll have a mix of each. Do you think, thinking about the size of that exhibit, do you think maybe we could put a couple of another species in there? What have we got? Mutabura? Should I have some Mutaburasaurus in there as well? Let's go find Mutaburasaurus. Yes, we already do have minimized quartzite. They're in the walkthrough enclosure. Mutabura, where am I looking? There we are. And let's just go for one type of Mutabura. Let's go for the white tail stripes, and let's do. Ooh. Oh, let's have some. Let's have the classic skin. Let's do for the Mutta, we'll do Gambia River Basin and Pulkrana. Excellent. Let's get back to the park. Casmo does have nice frills. I prefer Casmo's frills to Triceratopses or Pentaceratopses or Sinoceratopses or even Styracosauruses. Do you know that Svalbard is actually the name of a Norwegian archipelago? Well, actually, it's funny you should mention that, Raptor King. I was thinking about doing a video at some point, looking at, like, where all of these things are. Because, you know, they use all these names. But I think that's something people overlook, that these are all real-life places. So I was going to do a video going over what these locations actually were. But obviously that's going to take a while to research, so I haven't been able to get around to it yet. Pentaceratops is just the better Casmo, in my opinion. Yeah, I can see why you'd say that. Right, let's go and manufacture the Pachyrhinosaurus. So we went with Svalbard and Pulkrana. Is that what we went with? Yes, Svalbard and Pulkrana. And for males, we'll be fairly equal. We'll have 4 males, 4 females. I didn't say I fixed the heating and hot water cook. What do you mean? Oh, you mean sorted out the fact that it was 17 minutes out of time. And Killian Mountains with nothing is our females. Oh yes, and we can actually queue up multiple releases now. I cannot believe it's taken them that long to give us that. It's been so frustrating for years. You know, yeah, I think maybe 2 or 3 Mutaburasaurus will fill this exhibit up. Once you got all the dinosaurs in, I'll take you for a walk around the mini golf course, because I'm very proud of this golf course. So I'll take you for a walk around, and you can see it at person level. And then I think we'll get started on this area here. I kind of want to like get, because this is opposite the walkthrough exhibit. I kind of want to get this area done down here next. And then the whole park will be linked up to the Metriacanthosaurus exhibit, which was done the very first stream. These guys have been so alone for ages. And then if we have time, which we should do, because we've only spent 1 hour so far, and get started building the castle. Killian Mountains are the source of numerous, mostly small rivers and creeks that flow northeast. Oh. Do you have a T-Rex? So, Juan, how do you pronounce your name? I've only encountered your name with Juan Pablo Montoya, the Formula 1 and IndyCar driver, so I'm basing it off that. This park is entirely for small animals, or the smaller animals that we have in the game, so there would never be a T-Rex on this particular island. Oh, see, by having those rocks and that here, we have expanded the territory for the Yeholopterus, but I'm hoping that the Yeholopterus will stay reasonably near their insect feeders. What's this guy? This guy's just taking a rest on the rocks in the Huangosaurus exhibit. The Sungaripterus have been mostly okay staying around here near their fish feeders. Yeah, the dinosaurs here, they're not really spreading out very much. I want to see if I can fix that. Yeah, the Yeholopterus have been enjoying the rocks. I think it's bizarre that pterosaurs seem to prefer to land on rocks than they do to prefer their, like, the perches that are actually in their enclosure to land on. Is that a mod to release a pterosaur? No. So that's, you could do that in the base game. You can just, if you put an aviary hatchery down and breed the pterosaurs in, and then you can just release via chopper, and you can just plonk them down anywhere and you'll be fine. I mean, the whole point of this exhibit to be the Yeholopterus, like, I was hoping they would stick mostly to here because of the perches and the insect feeder. But actually, they haven't. So I'm not sure what to do about the Yeholopterus. I mean, potentially, maybe put some other dinosaurs in here, maybe? Like some Drosaurus or another species of dinosaur, just plonk a couple in here to sort of live alongside the Yeholopterus, maybe Humanocephaly or something, I don't know. I'm gonna have to have a think about what to do. People in chat and Fletcher, start saying cryptids that you can think of, because I might start taking notes and make the crypto builder game. Well, the Loch Ness Monster springs instantly to mind. You've got to have Nessie in there. Do you have any Dimetrodons? We don't. And I didn't put Dimetrodon down because technically it's pretty big. But I might use Dimetrodon. The species list at the side is not like a be-all and end-all. It's just very dependent on how the park goes and how much space we end up having empty. Gambia River Basin and Paul Crana. And yeah, we'll have like 3 in here. There we go. I'm going to whack it on fast forward, just so we can get the animals in there. It's a shame we don't have, like, actual cave pieces. I feel like Frontier are kind of missing a trick with giving us more decorative options for this game. No one is screaming out for more dinosaurs, but we're all screaming out for more bloody decorations. Well, look at that. If you're in the swimming pool of this particular hotel, you'll get a nice view of the Pachyrhinosaurus enclosure, as well as the Halopterus flying around. A fight has begun! Oh, I think the male has lost the fight. Who's going to run away? Yep, the male ran away. Pachyrhinosaurus 7 is now the alpha of the pack. Yeah, I think 3 Mutaburras and 8 Pachyrhinosaurus. I think that's enough for this particular enclosure. Dimetrodon River. I always thought that was a really weird part of Dominion with the swimming Dimetrodon. When I first saw that scene, for a split second I thought, oh, have they actually done a 180 and given us Spinosaurus and kept it a secret? And they hadn't. They just had, like, Dimetrodon swimming in the water, and it threw me for a loop. I'm not sure Dimetrodon would have been a good swimmer. But yeah, I think this has turned out quite nicely. Let's go down to ground level and have a look through our glass. Yeah, I think it works quite nicely because the concrete side wall is actually quite tall, isn't it? So actually being able to look through these glass walls really does help. I think that works so well. Did you forget your jeeps have muster waves to migrate the herds? No. There's just no real point to it. Because they'll only work while you keep the jeeps in there. Once the jeeps leave, you know, the dinosaurs will go back to where they like to go. I got to install that glass mod, but I can't find out how. It's pretty easy on PC. You just download the folder, unzip it, and copy and paste it into your game directory. It's pretty simple. Oh yes, I was going to do a proper walk around of the mini golf course. So, how it works. This would be like, this is the entrance to the mini golf like thing, and there'd be a restaurant in here, bathrooms in here. And I'm thinking there'd also probably be like a smaller, like, indoor mini golf course for like younger kids. But if you're going to do the proper course, this is the exit from there to the course. This is hole 1. Hole 1, pretty easy. It's just a nice curve to the hole. The hole is where the flag is, essentially. And each of so the red lights is the start, and the green light is the end of the hole. And also, as you go around, there are dinosaurs around. So you got Archaeornithomimus here. So hole 2, just a standard bounce to 90-degree turns. Pretty standard with the Chasmosaurus. Hello. Hole 3, this one's a bit more difficult. You have to go round the tower, see Parasaurolophus, and then back on yourself into the tower, because the hole is inside the tower. Hello, Carno. Hole 4 with the desert and the Brachiosaurus. It's just a straight go down and then go up at the other end. Hole 5, you have to bounce around this sort of pin pool-like arrangement. Hole 6, you have to do this tight curve and avoid the sand trap. And we've got 2 Deinonychus and a Cryolophosaurus fighting around some pterosaurs. Oh. Oh, that one is in the way. Can I bypass? Have I made the course too well? Okay, I've been able to bypass that. So, next hole, through the sign, past the T-Rex that's smashing through the fence, around the curve, up the hill, to the hole. Then we have the Velociraptor, like, containment from Jurassic Park. We have our iguanodons here overlooking the water hazard hole. And then this is like, I see it as like a halfway round place. So this is not a bunker structure. This is like a mini restaurant inside. It's like a mini restaurant. You've got toilets here. You know, snack bars, seating, just somewhere to have a break as you're going around with one of the new fountains as well. I really do like these new fountains. And the mural. So this hole you can start on the left or the right. And it's a cross-shaped hole. Avoid the sand trap. Past the concavenator for this one, which goes round back on itself. Past the Nasutoceratops. And then you have to get around the rocks that guard the hole. And now you enter into the fir tree area with this sort of many 90-degree bounces are passing underneath the Alamosaurus. Deeper into the woods. Then you come round for the long fenced-off enclosure past the Quetzalcoatlus, past the Carcharodontosaurus, down to the hole. Another simple pinball hole with the Parasaurolophus. And the final hole, you have to go past the Parasaurolophus, underneath the Spinosaurus. Oh, I'm Traphead. I'm Traphead again. Past the Spinosaurus. Oh, leave that view. Through the pinballs. And then there would be a hole at the very, very end. And you have a Stegosaurus there. So yeah, I think this is actually a pretty good mini golf course, actually. I mean, I love mini golf. I absolutely adore it. It's a British seaside, like, commonality. Pretty much every seaside town here will have a mini golf course or two. I love them. So I think this is a pretty good one. I would love to have a go at this. And yeah, it fills up a nice space in the park. It's something purely decorative and environmental. And yeah, it is a creative idea court site. And I think that's something that people sort of miss from their parks. It can't just be dinosaurs. It has to be, you know, gardens and nice seating areas and guest areas. You know, you waste some space to make a nice looking place. Because that's important too. Fletcher, would it be a good idea to have grey aliens as animals you can put in enclosures in the cryptid park? I don't think so, because they're not really cryptids. I mean, you could probably put something like Bigfoot in there or something. Are you from Britain as well? Yes, so I'm born and bred. Was born in Aldershot, and I've lived in England all of my life. Dane, my partner and fellow member of Tricolor Gaming, is from Northern Ireland, and he moved over. So, but yeah, we are all British here. Right, so this enclosure. So let me talk you through what my plan is for this. This area is higher up. I've designed it that way deliberately. What I want is for this to be like with the guest area. We're going to have benches and stuff here. This is just going to be sort of meadow vegetation, grasses, that sort of thing between the guests and the dinosaurs, which are going to be down here. But the dinosaur enclosure is not going to go all the way up to the path. And the dinosaurs for this particular enclosure, I want to have the slightly larger of the smaller animals. So probably Nigersaurus, Amargasaurus, maybe Chasmosaurus, that sort of thing. And then we're going to have a purely plaza area down here, amenities, bathrooms, and possibly viewing tower or two. Or maybe logs, I'm not sure yet, the viewing logs looking out into here. There'll also be access down here to the viewing logs that are in the Metriacanthosaurus enclosure. So that is the plan. And then obviously you have the bridge across the river to this area here, which is going to hold a lagoon for the Ichthyosaurus, zip lines, and the campground. So that's the plan. What is my favorite dinosaur? So my favorite dinosaur of all time is probably Baryonyx. That's been one of my favorite dinosaurs ever since I learned its name. I think out of every dinosaur that I've ever heard, Baryonyx as a name has just stuck with me. In terms of my favorite dinosaur in Jurassic World Evolution 2, it would probably be closer to Amargasaurus, I think. I think Amargasaurus is my favorite. Let's start off with the Plaza first. And we'll go from there. So I want a few amenities down here, not too many. I think I want to kind of have a like a square of amenities in the middle. But I don't want them right up to the edge. Actually, maybe have okay. First things first, let's put in some edging here. I just realized how that sounds. I'll skip errands, folks. Let's put an edge to here. Are we going to go with this color or kind of mix and matching the colors I'm going for? Let's stick to using the gray. Okay, there's one. There's two. Have you made a tips video on plazas? Kind of. They've been mentioned in other tips and tricks videos I've suggested. I haven't specifically asked for one. I haven't specifically made one on plazas because I think it's very difficult to kind of tell people how to make them. It's basically create some path in a shape you want and put some amenities and stuff in. Evo has done some videos on making plazas. If I was to give anyone advice on making them, it would be that they don't have to be huge. It's one of the things I would say is the wrong thing to do with plazas, is people make them massive. And I feel it takes up too much space if you do that. I think plazas can include just simple stuff like this. You know, I would consider this a plaza, just the external guest area that you have, or you know, something like this over here, the amenity zone, but also you've got seating and flower arrangements and stuff around the edge. It doesn't have to be huge. All right, we're going to stick in one there. And one here. No, we aren't going to do that. We're going to put the other one directly behind this one. Yep, that works. And then what we're going to do is we're going to combine the toilet structure with the amenity. That is acceptable. And then I'm just going to basically finish paving up all this. There's our amenity structures done. Right, they all have to be panels, and we'll go with parapet style. Go with the classic small entrance. No, I think we're going to have to go with a big entrance. Let's have the entrance on the corner, because then, you know, so they're going to come off that raised terrain, and then that will be on the corner there. Thank you, Juan. Is this an island from... Is this the island from Thomas the Tank Engine? Yes. So, when I was a kid, Thomas the Tank Engine was the show I was most into. Like, massively into that show. It was the show of my childhood. And when I was thinking about, like, making my own island for this particular build, I was like, what do I call this particular island? And the island of Sodor came immediately to mind. But if let me just finish figuring out which of these decorations I want. We'll go with those. If I actually have if I switch to capture mode, so the island itself is actually the rough shape of the island of Sodor. So that top line is north, this is the south. It's roughly the shape of the island of Sodor as well. So I used that to guide building the island. And that's something I would suggest you do if you want to create your own island. Is to make it look like a real one. Or an island that exists. Right. I'm going to put that on the corner as well. They're gonna be right next to the air conditioning pipes, but we can... That is just what that is. Quite like that palm tree being there, to be honest. But it just looks a little unsymmetrical. So this side will go with the... Go for the lighting, the bison lights on this side, because obviously there's going to be stuff to look at on this side. So and now time to create the walled off sides. This is the bit that takes the time. I'm not going to wall off everywhere here. I'm going to put walls in the corners. And go and probably try and leave most of it open. I might do a couple here and here. Same over here. Roughly in the same place. And then we've got we'll have a large seating area here. And just fill up the rest of decorations. I want to switch from the palm trees. I'm going to do the beaches instead. Actually, do we want some fountains down here? Maybe in the corners? No. No. Let's have some flaming obelisks instead. Can't go wrong with a flaming obelisk. You're interested in the difference between American and British ways of speaking. And don't forget we spell things differently too. In some cases, very differently. Okay, let's grab some of these raised planters. And I'm going to put 3 in along these edges. Like such. And then I'm going to cover those gaps with some beech trees. There and there. Now, the beech trees are not interfering with the view technically from the upstairs of the amenities, which is what I want. I want those in the amenities to be able to see the beech trees. Right, and now I'm just going to come in and chuck in a few of these planters. Again, not getting them too close to the flaming obelisks, because that would be a fire hazard. Do you celebrate Christmas? Of course I do. I'm not religious, but I celebrate Christmas as a time to spend with family and friends and to have lots of food and lots of drink and to spend lots of money on each other and spoil each other with presents and such. Unlike most other festivals like Easter and that, and Valentine's Day, where I find the commercialization kind of annoying, when it comes to Christmas, I'm all on for the commercialization of Christmas. I think Christmas is a time where you should spend money and spoil people, and I will always be completely open about that. Right, let's put in...
For a second there, I thought you were going to say I'm always going to be a capitalist about that.
Yeah, I am. I am going to be a capitalist about that. I'm sick of the argument being, oh, well, we should remember, like, that it's a religious festival. No. I'm going to celebrate it as a purely commercial festival. Like, because it basically is.
I was going to say, if we want to get really technical about it, Christmas is actually a pagan festival, which was renamed and rebranded.
But yeah, it's not even Christian.
It's Norse.
The Christians go on and on about Christmas, but it's not even a Christian festival, so screw it.
It was derived from the Romans, Celts, Norse, and Jews.
Right, I want to create a kind of just a nice decorative structure here. Might put a Camarasaurus in here. No, maybe not. Maybe Carno? Carno fits quite nicely. It's not too large. Maybe have something with the Carno. Maybe like a Concavinator or a Cryolophosaurus. Deinonychus. Yeah, you know, I'm happy with the Carno. I think that works with just the Carno, to be honest. Right, let's stick in some seating. So I'm going to use these edges for... No, I'm not going to do that. Okay, we're going to have one in each of the corners of the edges. We're going to have a couple in the shade of these. Actually, we'll have... where are they? We'll have the benches. Benches or picnic tables? I like the idea of having a couple of picnic tables down here, actually. Have a couple of picnic tables in the shade of the birch trees. I don't think we'll have benches around the fountain because there's too much risk of people falling off the damn things into the fountain. We're going to go 1, 2, and 3, and then we're going to go 4 and 5. Yeah, I think that's fine. I think we'll maybe put like... I think we need something here. This area is empty. Yeah, let's just have like a smaller... Let's just have a smaller fountain with a couple of beech trees around it. Yeah, I'm fairly happy with that. It's fairly simple. Yeah, comfortable with that. Right. Still dislike the DLC. It's not about whether it's not a question of disliking or liking the DLC. I think it's a disappointing DLC. And I won't be had a go at for thinking that, you know. I maintain that it's a unsatisfactory DLC in my opinion. Could have been a lot better. Thinking of having... I want some viewing gallery down here, but my problem with these galleries is that they're so big. They stick out tons into the actual exhibit. Like, I really like the viewing logs because you can just kind of lower them into the ground and they form like a natural barrier. Yeah, I mean, I would agree with you there, Zadas. My problem is I just don't think we need any more dinosaurs. I just don't see the point. We keep getting more and more species, and we can't... I mean, I don't use half of them now. I don't really think we need that many. Quite like the idea of having some of these here, actually. Let's kind of create like a... like a little stadium area here. We need to cover up the fronts, obviously, but that's fine. This is my park devoted entirely to small dinosaurs, and it's coming along quite nicely so far. We have a long way to go. We still need to do this exhibit, the lagoon, the campsite, the castle, the science centre, and I still need to decide what I'm going to do with this place in the back, because I haven't figured that bit out yet. But the park is steadily coming along. Right. I've also just realised I made such a fuss about these guys being able to see what's in here, and yet these are going to block their view. Maybe have one of these then. And we'll just have the one, and we'll just have it here. Path not connected. And then... you'll get a decent view of the whole enclosure from there. We can blend it into the rest. just have fencing here. Yeah, I think we'll do it that way. Or should we use the glass, actually? No, we'll stick to the gallery. I think it would be cool for an animation for a predator to attack a herbivore while sleeping or something. It's unrealistic that kills only happen to them when they are fighting. Oh, sorry, I'm just getting comfy. I think there's a limitation to how the animations in this game work in general. I think there's a lot that needs to be fixed. Okay, we're going to have fairly large animals in here again. So let's go with the large fence. Now, what's important is I don't want the fence to go all the way up to... Why on earth did that just not come out straight? I don't want the fence to go all the way up to... right up to the edge of the path. I want it to be maybe a little bit away. And then we're going to go up. And then that's basically going to be where the fence will end, because the rest of this is going to be natural rocky defense, rock defenses. We're only wanting the fence up there. And what we'll do with the fence line is we'll do like we did with the Monolophosaurus enclosure. We're going to have a line of vegetation between the path and the fence, just for some nice decoration. But let's stick in the rest of the rocks for this. We're going to go with... So they can't be too high up, because I want the rocks to be... I want people to have a fairly good view of the enclosure from the path. So I think it'll have to be these ones. We're going to stick like some little ones in between. And this is actually based off one I actually saw. Me and Dane went to Colchester Zoo, big zoo here in the UK. Actually one of the best zoos I've ever been to, oddly enough. But they had something similar for the elephant enclosure. They had like just a line of rocks between where the elephants were and where the people were. So you got a really good view of the elephants, and you know there was no horrible fence line there to get in the way of taking nice photographs and stuff. So that is what I am basing this sort of thing off. Now obviously we're going to have to use invisible fencing. I'm going to try and keep the invisible fencing to inside the enclosure. So we're, as much as possible, hiding it from the guest view. Obviously, we can't hide everything. But we can do our best. A fight has begun again. And then for this edge, we'll use rocks. We'll just put some rocks here. We'll have like a rock formation or something. Just to cover that that's like the edge of the exhibit. But they don't have to be small for this one. Because people don't need to see over, so... There you go. Our trees will hide. You know, we'll be planting plenty of trees in there, just to hide that. Is Colchester the zoo? No. So, Raptor King. That's actually Woburn Safari Park.
Longleat has it as well.
Longleat has it as well, but I think the most common one is the one that's like most used on TV and stuff is Woburn Safari Park, which is actually just up the road from where I am living at the moment. We'll have the sandstone walls go all the way up to the edge there. That gives us our planting area. Now we're going to fill the rest of the space with basically vegetation. All along here. This is all going to be vegetation. Start with the grasses, and now I'm going to put down some of the ferns. Perhaps a bit too many there. I don't want anything too tall, you see. That's the problem. I want things that are a bit shorter. Don't mind the occasional logs. Logs are fine, but I don't want anything too tall. Yeah, a couple in the middle is fine, I think, but yeah, that's okay. As long as it's not too vegetated. I saw this prank of one of the safari parks where a man in a lion costume, and when the car stopped, he opened the door with its teeth. Safari parks are very strict on their rules, or they are over here at least. You will get in a lot of trouble for putting yourself or the animals in danger. Right. So, just having a think, I also want to... thinking something like that. Or shall we use the Jurassic Park flags? Let's use the Jurassic Park flags. And let's have them in here. And then I'm going to grab some more of those fence pieces. Thus, let's smoothen out this terrain again because it's all gotten a bit excessive. Lovely. Now, for along this ridgeline, obviously we're going to need to think about guest safety there. Probably will continue using foliage pieces or something. Yeah. This is the bit that takes the time. I wish Kaidenix's fence mod was working properly. Because I would just be using that for this. But we make do with what we can. I think what we'll do for these angled sections, just because it's so much easier just to do it this way, is we'll grab some rocks. Actually, instead of rocks, we'll use bushes. Just helps to frame the exhibit. And then we'll switch back to these guys. There. Space a couple of these out a little bit more. There you go. So there is the enclosure surrounded. Do you watch football, English not American? If so, what is your favorite team? I don't, Raptor King. I hate football. I don't really like many sports. I think football is one of the worst examples of sport. It didn't used to be. But like many things, I think it was ruined by money. And football now is just rich people who kick a ball around for half an hour. So, you know, they kick a ball around a little bit, and then they think they're suddenly the most amazing people in the world. And I don't know. I just think they're all overpaid for what they do. They're paid millions of dollars or pounds for that. And I think they're overpaid, frankly. I know plenty of other people love sport, but I'm just not a sporty person. And sometimes the way that people can be so fanatic about sport, I look at it and think, you know, if people were this fanatic about many of the real world problems that we have today, many of these real world problems would be sorted by now. Just want to kind of give this a bit of definition, some terrain, just because I think it's a little flat otherwise. Put some ginkgos here, not too many ginkgos. Yes, happy with that. Yeah, they've got quite a good view through there, which is nice. I quite like something there to be something distinctive about this enclosure. I'm just not sure what. Actually, maybe maybe we can have like a couple of maybe let's like stick a gate which we can see from the path. Yeah, maybe if we grab it, let's like twist it slightly so it looks like it's half fallen over. Yeah, I like that. And maybe you know, I'm happy with there just being a gate here. I'm gonna a bit more centrally. Actually, no. We'll keep it where it was. I think that's fine like that. The owner of my club sacked a manager, so he didn't have to pay the fee if he won a trophy. Wow. That's a pretty scummy tactic. Right, time for vegetation. I'm going to start with this back row here. Because I want to put in some of the different colours first. And then we'll put in these guys. And then we're going to switch again. Good. Same for over here. Just going to put in some miscellaneous vegetation. That works. If you're a small content creator like me, like literally tiny, do you think as soon as I gain money to buy it, or should I wait until if I do get bigger? So, to buy what? I'm a bit confused. Oh, DLCs. In my experience, I don't think DLCs are necessary. I think when you're a small content creator, I don't really think you need to worry about having all of the DLCs. I think when you're a small content creator, it's more important to be not necessarily different, but reliable. Sometimes it helps to have a different opinion. Like I've been fairly popular because I think I have quite a contrary opinion to a lot of other people, so it gives me, you know, I'm different because of that. But let's go with, I don't know what to do environment-wise for this enclosure. I feel like it can be just quite simple. Doesn't have to be excessively complex. No, too much. Really, I just want this enclosure to be kind of open, really. I want to make sure people have the best view of the animals. Go for something that's like a little, almost savanna. Not quite, but almost. And have the pure greenery in the middle. Yeah, I think that's okay. Okay, Raps King, bye-bye. Thank you for joining in. Thank you, Joshua. Yeah, I think the different colors really helps. In fact, I'm gonna stick a few into this enclosure, actually. just to break up the green. Hello, Leonard. Put a couple of bushes around the broken sign. Yeah, I think that's good. I think maybe just for a bit of variation. Now those are all pretty short. Just gonna stick a couple of these in. Just for some variation, sort of tree type, really. I also think a few logs here and there. And let's decorate the area around these. A couple of different colors, a couple of different types. Yeah, that's good. If only we need a few plants along this row, but I don't want to spoil the view. Yeah, I'm kind of happy with that, actually. It's not 100% perfect. Few trees. You know, they won't be able to see past those bushes anyway. Just helps to frame this area again. Yeah, I think that's good. And the animals we're going to put in there are quite big anyway. So they'll be quite visible. Let's go and grab those skins. So a Margosaurus and probably Chasmosaurus will go in here. Let's go grab those skins. Species viewer. Right, so Amargasaurus. Let's have a look. We want a colour that's going to stand out amongst all that green. Yellow and... I think the yellow and the black is going to stand out the best. So we'll do Great Sandy Desert and Borkrana. Maybe let's have a different colour combo. Let's do... yeah. And let's do Killian Mountains and Papyrana. So that's a Margosaurus. And then let's do Chasmosaurus. Same thing again. Let's pick out a Frilgar actually. Let's go with the grey and orange, and then let's do just not have it yellow because we got on Margosaurus a yellow. Let's do something like that. So let's do Death Valley and Calcarana. And do we have a female skin pattern for that? No, we don't. What do we have female skin? Okay, let's do Svalbard and Calcarana. And the females can be white of Killian Mountains. It's quite a large enclosure. What other animals have we got? Niger. I like having a few more Mutabarosaurus actually. Let's go for a very different color combination. Yeah, mangrove forest and Papyrana for some Mutabarosaurus. That should do. Ooh, I tell you what, the temperature has dropped here again. It's going to be another cold night in Britain. We've been getting down to like -6 degrees. I think the coldest temperature this week has been -12 up in Scotland. It's like, that's ridiculously cold for this time of year. Like, it gets cold, but like I've never seen it be like -12 before. Excellent. Right. I'm surprised people aren't coming down this way. I'm hoping they'll start moving down here once there are dinosaurs to see. I might put like a viewing dome or something in here. Potentially. Oh, that's something I'd forgotten. The log exhibits. Okay. Log exhibit. From there to there. And then another one. From there to there. Had completely forgotten about that. Poor Metricanthosaurus when being viewed. Okay, this gap we can just throw one of these in. The hell with that, we can just throw a bush in here, surely. Yeah, that works. Okay, and then they've got good views inside of there. Why can't I view this? It's not out of borderline. Show view. There we go. Metricanthosaurus are sleeping. Right. Well, at least I've remembered to do them. That was pretty stupid of me, actually. Right. Dinosaur time. Starting with Amargasaurus. In Great Sandy Desert and Porkrana. Oh, we need to have at least 4 of each color. Killian Mountains and Papyrana. Right. Let's drop all these in. There's going to be so many choppers for this enclosure. There's the Amargasaurus. You know, 8 Amargasaurus might actually just do that enclosure. I might wait for them to drop in. Remember the war in heaven, remember these nuts. Corey! Well, ignoring the insanity in chat, definitely there'll be room for Casmo. There'll be room for Casmosaurus. Right, Casmo. Svalbard. And Kalkarana. We'll have 2 males. Oh, Dante's Inferno. Well, thank you for that information. That enlightens my day, Corey. Right, Killian Mountains. And we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Right, let's see how that looks once it's full. Please welcome Amargasaurus to the park. Right. Let's decorate this edge. Oh, that's actually kind of small. So Antony, dinosaur. I think we'll be lucky to get that many packs more. I don't see the game lasting much more than another 2 DLCs, if I'm honest. I think they'll be shutting the development down after the next 2 DLCs. I mean, I'm kind of expecting them to shut it down now, to be honest. I just don't think they've got much in the works for this.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome a Canvasaurus to the park.
I feel like we could stick like a tree in here, can we? Just the one? No, 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 no. Way too tall.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome a Canvasaurus to the park.
There's a gap here. I don't like gaps.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome a
it'll do.
Canvasaurus to the park.
They made an early Cretaceous pack, a late Cretaceous pack, and a Cretaceous Predator pack. Why did they make a 3rd Cretaceous pack? Yeah, I don't understand why either. They're obsessive. Good lord. Where do all these people suddenly come from? The obsessiveness that they have about the Cretaceous era is kind of annoying. Suddenly millions of people are on their way down up over to here. That's alarming. I feel like we need some flagpoles here. Definitely flags here. There. I feel like we could probably get away with continuing the tree lining going along here. So trees along that side, and we've got those there. We've got quite want to do something involving these flaming pillars here. Oh, but it's a curve. Okay. So I'm going to have to figure out how to do that. Oh, this area down here is a bit untidy. Might have to tidy this fencing up a bit for the not Monolophosaurus, Metriacanthosaurus. The aviary in this game is awful. I think it's okay. I just think it's very difficult to do anything interesting with it. I mean, the biggest problem with the aviary is that you can't change the height. You can't, like, make it really tall or you know, create good terrain inside it. That is a lot of Amargos. Yeah, how are we looking in terms of territory? Yeah, I don't think that's too bad. I don't want it too full up. I want this to be kind of like a natural sort of enclosure. You don't have to be too full up. Yeholopterus is the only good pterosaur. I do like the Yeholopterus. I have free roaming Yeholopterus all around here. But I do wish that we would get a greater variation in... Why are these guys stuck down here? It's that water, isn't it? But I do wish they would focus on DLCs on animals that are not Cretaceous period for once. I'm so bored of Cretaceous period animals. Like, a prehistoric planet just focused on that as well. It was equally as annoying there. Okay, that's good. I'm happy with how this has turned out, more or less. Right, so the next thing really to focus on is doing the castle. Right, so there's going to be... I want like a couple of garden sections alongside these main avenues. There'll be a water feature in the middle. And I'm thinking maybe have an even thinner path around the edge. So go out one, up one, two, out one, up one, two. And this I'm going to go in by one. is going to take a lot of decorating to do. Then we're going to go up another one. And again. And we're going to have the main castle in the middle. Low health. What's wrong? Oh, I don't believe it. Hwango stuck again. They keep getting stuck here. It's driving me nuts. Every time they get stuck in that little area there. Why is Yehalopterus the only pterosaur in the game that does not eat fish? Because Frontier are lazy. That's why. You know, they could have given us accurate diets for some of these pterosaurs, but they couldn't be asked because that would require too much work. Right. What I want to do is have one. So that's going to be our first tower. It's going to be our second tower. Yeah, wall section. And then the same here, wall section. Water feature in the middle. Probably have some fountains in here or something just to give it a nice effect. And then the castle itself we're going to have on raised terrain. I wouldn't quite go that far, dude. I don't think they need to burn in hell, but I do think they've been lazy with some of their design decisions. For this game especially. I want to sue them. I don't think they've done anything that's suable. I just think this game is not a big enough step up from Jurassic World Evolution 1. Not to me, anyway. That's going to be... outer wall. Oof. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Good. What was great about Jurassic World Evolution 1? Well, there wasn't anything, in my opinion. I think it was substandard. And I think this game is substandard. I don't think enough has improved. Okay, we're going to go in by 2 diagonal pieces. And that gives us an inner wall. Like this. Doesn't have to be that long though. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That's our inner wall. This will be our gatehouse. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Our gatehouse. And then in the middle we will have our keep. Something along those lines. These towers are going to double up. We'll put 2 on top of each other so that the towers will be viewable. And I think in terms of a gate, we'll have the Jurassic Park gate. It's not quite long enough. Potentially, maybe the banner one will be long enough. Just about. I don't like that. I might try and build something that looks like a gatehouse. I'd have a think about that. Yeah, Burger, I said we wouldn't stop until normal stopping time. I feel like we could maybe do some like gardens inside the towers. I don't know. Figure that out at a later point. And then we'll have obviously gardens. These will be very gardeny. Let's actually just put in the paths for this. Yeah. That's basically the front of the castle done. And then the rear of the castle will basically continue off pretty similar. I think there'll be like an enclosure behind here. So you sort of travel around the castle to get to the enclosure that'll be in the back section. And I think we'll also need a bridge or something to go across this river to whatever we decide to put in the back of this island. And potentially to get another entrance to the campsite. Which is worse, Jurassic World Evolution 2 or Mortal Kombat 1? Definitely Mortal Kombat 1. The Mortal Kombat games, they never change. Okay, so that'll be our water feature. Oops. Line the edges of this path with bushes. And then behind that, we're then going to have trees. Maybe smaller bushes. Maybe use the smaller bushes. Yeah, I think that's better. Who would be a perfect developer to make a Dino Zoo simulator game? Well, you know, back in the day I would have said Frontier. And I mean, I think they probably would have done better if it hadn't been for Universal. I think a lot of the problems these games are because of Universal. Right, let's just move these trees slightly closer to the path. Yeah, that's a bit nicer. That's a bit nicer. And gardens there, gardens there. If you made your own Dino Zoo simulator game, what kind of pterosaurs would you have? I probably wouldn't have pterosaurs at all. Or if I did, I would have quite small species. Because I would probably have some sort of bird cage-like display system. Yes, don't worry, Colt. In fact, Dane is going to do a Palo Pines stream on Wednesday. I've kind of bullied him into doing one. Oh, I haven't a clue, Bergbarger. I don't know enough about the subject, if I'm honest. Let's have some fountains in here. There's our water feature. Let's stick in some flowers around the edge. That new tool I found in with the tree would look pretty in the middle. That's a good point, actually. And that works, actually. Yeah. Not bad. Kind of want the ground here to be a bit more distinct in colour, so let's go white. Posh gravel. And I want something to give height to these guard towers. So I'm thinking... that works. Yeah, that'll do. I would like something to be like a gate. That works. The castle is coming together. Shale was like, I miss Shale so much. Ah. I really miss Shale. It was just such a useful, like, thing to have. Edenic, please bring your small fence mod back. Get it fixed. Oh, I really want that back and fixed properly. Imagine a pet simulator game where you raise all kinds of different prehistoric animals as pets. It's kind of paleo pines, I think. Ones I need to go across. Yeah, I know the transport rating is low. Tough. You just don't have anything really that can... Oh, actually. Moron. Why did you forget about that? Perfect. Raise these up just a little bit. Nice. Oh yeah, and it fits perfectly. It's like it was made for that hole. And then obviously these towers. So I should probably figure out where they're going to go. So 1, 2, 1, 2. These towers were basically just going to double them up, essentially. And hide any awkward edges with vegetation. So you'll be able to see the tops of the towers from down here. That's the aim. And we'll stick some flags in there too. Fletcher, have you seen the trailer for the new Godzilla vs. Kong? No, I'm not really a big fan of Godzilla. It was never one of those things I got very much into. I need unt flag. That looks silly. That just looks stupid. We just don't really have a flag that works for this, for the towers, so we'll just have to leave them bare. Which is fine. But yeah, that's the general gist of the castle. Obviously, the insides need to be decorated much more. And we need to do the outer gardens and do the rest of the perimeter paving and do the exhibit. But generally, that's the gist of the castle done. Fletcher, do you think that dinosaurs could survive in the modern day? They do. They're called birds. If you plug the top with the rock and stick the flag in, it might look alright. Yeah, potentially. Actually, maybe. I think the reason why it just doesn't the flag doesn't look right to me is that it's they're kind of small. Maybe the bigger flags will work better. If I like bring one up. No. No, because obviously there needs to be a really tall tower in the middle, which is what you have the flag on. So yeah, I just need to do the rest of the castle. But we got a fair amount done today. We did our complete. Oh, that's. Let's take some time to do some screenshots, shall we? That's worked very well. I like how well that's worked. It looks so good there with the Mutaburras right up close. And naturally, all of the dinosaurs are only standing near the one at the... Oh, there are two Pachyrhinosaurus there. Two Pachyrhinosaurus there. That works really well. Obviously, I need to do the rest of the decoration here down this this pathway, but that looks... this whole exhibit has turned out rather nicely, considering. And then, obviously, the wide open grassland exhibit here. With our little Amargasaurus. What are you doing to that plant? Look at the mole. It's like they're having a meeting. And I think the little guest zone down here turned out all right in the end. Obviously, there's more to do decoration-wise. And yeah, it's all looking rather good so far. honestly, I don't know how. I don't know. I don't know how long it will be until the park kicks up a fuss. Because I am using a lot of decorative items, but so far we do seem to be all right. So yeah, we'll just have to keep an eye on it. Yeah, the clear panel fence is such a good mod. Such a good addition so far. And yes, the castle, the beginnings of the castle. But yeah, I'm going to leave it here, folks. It's 11 o'clock now. And I have been going for 3 hours. Don't forget to like the stream if you haven't already. And subscribe if you haven't already done so. And I will see you next week in next week's War Thunder video and Jurassic World Evolution video. I actually definitely do a War Thunder video since there's no DLC coming out next week. Nothing to distract me. So yeah, I will see you next week for videos and Palo Pines on Wednesday with Dane. But until then, thank you everyone for watching. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I'll see you next time. Good night.